Hi, mathletes. Welcome to this week's Question of the Week. The question today comes from Problem Solving Experiences in Mathematics. Jill discovered an interesting multiplication problem. She wrote it in code by replacing each digit with a different letter. Identical letters represent identical digits. Let's crack the code. So here we go. It looks like straw multiplied by 4 equals warts. Interesting. Okay, give it a go. And then when you're done, you can start the video. So just pause it here. Welcome back. How did you do? What strategy did you use? Did you get stuck? That's okay. It's all right if you don't get the correct answer. Remember, we're exercising our brain. So when something's hard, that means your brain is growing. So here's what I did. I thought I'm going to use constraint testing. So I knew that multiplying by 4 turns straw into warts. And I noticed that warts is the reverse of straw. STRAW is the same thing as WARTS backwards. So I tried to figure out which letters I should decode first. And I thought I'm going to do the S and the W. So S multiplied by 4 is W, and W multiplied by 4 is S. So since 4 multiplied by S is W, what values could S have? Well, S could be 1 or S could be 2, because if S were larger, the product would be a 2-digit number, and then it would carry it over. So let's try to find S. S equals 1 does not work because W multiplied by 4 equals S. And no multiple of 4 ends with a 1 because we'd have 4, 8, 12, 16, etc. So therefore, S has to equal 2. So I replaced S with a 2, as you can see here and here. So if S is 2, what would be the value of W? Well, since 4 multiplied by W equals S, the only multiples of 4 times a single digit that end in a 2 are 12 and 32. That would mean W has to be either 3 or 8. We know that W has to be a multiple of 8 because 2 multiplied by 4. So W has to be 8. Now which letters should be decoded next? Well, let's look at T and A. Could 4 multiplied by T equal a 2-digit number? And the answer to that is no, because a number would be carried, and we already know that 4 multiplied by S equals W, or 4 multiplied by 2 equals 8. So there's nothing that's carried over. So what values could T have? Well, T could be 1 or T could be 2. But remember, S is already 2. Therefore, T has to be 1. So now what value could A have? Let's look here, A. Well, A multiplied by 4 plus the 3, remember we carried over because the product of 8 and 4 is 32, has to be a number that ends in 1 because remember T equals 1. So therefore A has to be 7. So if A is 7, what would be the value of R? Well, R multiplied by 4 plus 3 equals R. So R has to equal 9. So S equals 2, A equals 7, T equals 1, W equals 8, and R equals 9. Are you ready for another question? Well, this is our extension. Let's give it a go. This time we have saw plus wood equals dust. And in this case, T equals 9. So I'm going to replace the T with the number 9. So let's use constraint testing again on this one. And the same rules apply. So you can pause the video here, and then when you're ready, resume and we'll see how we did. Was this one easier or harder than the multiplication problem? Okay, let's give it a go. So what are W and D? Well, let's see. We know that their sum equals 9. So therefore, T equals 9. We know that. So they have to be either 4 or 5. D must be greater than W, though, since the D in dust is the sum of W in wood, and there's a carryover. So that means the W must be 4 and the D must be 5. And I replaced those, as you can see, in red. So now what are the letters A, O, S, and U? Well, the remaining digits that we have are 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Remember, the 4, the 5, and the 9 have already been used. And we know that A plus O equals S. So let's try O equaling 2, and I'm going to make a table to make this a little neatly organized. So here's my table. So for A, remember it could be numbers 0, 1, it can't be 2 because we're going to try O for 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. Again, O will equal 2. So now S is the sum of A and O. So 0 plus 2 is 2. And would that work? And it would not work. Why not? Because it repeats. In other words, O is already 2, so S can't also be 2. What about 3? 1 plus 2 equals 3. That also does not work, and it's going to fail when we go to the next column. How about 3 plus 2 equals 5? That also does not work. We already used 5 for D. 6 plus 2 is 8. Oh, this works. Okay, let's keep testing to make sure. The sum of 7 and 2 is 9. That does not work because we already used 9 for the letter T. And lastly, 8 plus 2 ends in a 0 because it's 10. That also will not work because it leads to a conflict later on in the addition problem. Therefore, we know that A equals 6, O equals 2, S equals 8. U equals 8 plus 2, so U has to be 0. So there are 2 other solutions. If you tried and you got something different than me, maybe you got one of these, and these also work. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you as always for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. That way you'll never miss a new question of the week. If you want to leave a comment below, maybe you can tell me how hard you thought this was, especially compared to the other problems of the week, or what strategy maybe that you used. And lastly, if you know someone who would enjoy this challenge, please share it with a friend. And again, thank you for watching.